This is a map displaying the countries involved with genetically modifying crops. As displayed and explained previously, there was a 20% increase in countries involved from 2003 to 2004. 17 new countries had adopted biotech crops in just 2004 alone. Biotech crops is just another name for genetically modified crops.
In 2004, the global area of biotech crops was 81 million hectares, which equals 13.3 million hectare increase from 2003. As shown in the chart to the right, you can see that the United States and Argentina are the top two biotech producing countries, trailing ahead of all the other countries with the whopping 47.6 and 16.2 million hectares.
Canada has 5.4 million hectares, Brazil has 5 million, China has 3.7 million, and Paraguay has 1.2 million hectares of biotech crops. Colombia, Germany, and Honduras all have less than 50,000 hectares, but if you think about it, that's an enormous quantity.
Genetically modified crops are made for a large assortment of reasons. They grow faster, have larger seeds, and sweeter fruits.
It doesn't end there either. They have a resistance to diseases and insects, a tolerance to droughts and flooding, have better grain quality, and pest resistance.
If you're thinking that it ends there, you're crazy. They have a herbicide tolerance and even a greater micronutrient content.
In the near future, you should definitely expect to see a variety of uses for these crops. They might just be the answers to a lot of our problems right now. Food will contain drugs, bananas will have the power to fight off infectious diseases, such as hepatitis B, because they would contain vaccines. And fish would mature much faster due to their metabolically engineered genes.
Food trees will produce fruits and other plants much quicker, and there will be no more repulsive foods because sweetness and other factors can now be controlled. Now, this isn't saying that spinach, for example, won't taste like the disgusting green mushy stuff that many people think it tastes like. It's just saying that certain characteristics and genes can be altered to ensure a better, more appealing taste to the food.
Plants soon might be able to produce plastics and other sources, which, if you really think about it, is somewhat scary. Imagine a plant producing a plastic.
A lot of magnificent developments might be possible with the further research of these crops. Crops might be able to grow in unsuitable conditions for most plants and even convert nitrogen in the air. Crops will be able to be grown in drought conditions and maybe even stay alive in soil saturated with aluminum.
Soon, crops will be producing vaccines against diseases such as chloria and hepatitis B. The sad thing is, though, primates, pigs, mice, frogs, and midges are just some of the animals that may end up genetically modified in the near future.
Scientists are currently developing a type of genetically modified tomato that has the capability to grow in salty soil. As interesting as this product sounds, it is not yet marketed. Because there are many benefits and many hazards of making genetically modified foods, there are many controversies surrounding genetically modified foods. The controversies include things such as the health effects of these foods, the environmental safety of them, the ethics, controversies surrounding international affairs, and the public awareness of genetically modified foods.
First off, the health effects controversies surrounding genetically modified foods. First of all, information is scarce about health hazards, and there may be hazards that we do not know about that could harm us. Secondly, genetically modified foods may cause bacteria to become resistant to antibiotics. When the genetically modified food enters the body, bacteria in the body is altered so that it is able to fend off and eventually become totally resistant to the certain antibiotics. They can also produce allergies that the consumer may not have before they ate the food. There is also no reliable way to test genetically modified foods for these allergies. Again, current methods used to test for allergens and hazards need radical improvements. Putting genetically modified foods and growing them in the environment also contributes to a loss of biodiversity in nature.
Here is an example of the health effect of introducing allergens into people's bodies by eating genetically modified foods.
At a business lunch with coworkers, 35-year-old Grace Booth dined on 3 chicken enchiladas, which she later recalled were very good. Within about 15 minutes, however, something went wrong. She felt hot and itchy. Her lips swelled. She lost her voice and developed severe diarrhea.
I felt my chest getting tight. It was hard to breathe,
Recalled Booth.
She didn't know, but she was going into shock.
Reported CBS News.
I thought, oh my God, what is happening to me? I felt like I was going to die.
Her coworkers called an ambulance. Booth didn't know what had caused her nearly deadly allergic reaction. But this was September 2000, and within a few days, she heard of the news. A genetically modified corn product called Starlink, a potential allergen not approved for human consumption, was discovered in tacos, tortillas, and other corn products. More than 300 items were eventually recalled from the grocery store shelves because of what was to become one of the world's biggest genetically modified food debacles.
Another controversy topic surrounding is the environmental safety of these foods. Genetically modified foods are embedded with engineered genes that have the capability to escape and potentially introduce the engineered genes into wild populations. The gene may also not be stable enough and may cause for many plants to change without wanting them to. Like stated before, these unstable genes may cause the reduction in the spectrum of other plants in the environment. Chemicals are used on these foods that are introduced to non-genetically modified foods that may harm the plant. Also, through cross-pollination, many unstable genetically modified genes are transferred to non-genetically modified growing plants, such as 2 different fields on a farm, one with genetically modified foods and one without. Also very important are the unknown effects of these traveling genes on other plants that accidentally receive them.
Next are the controversies surrounding ethics of consuming and producing genetically modified